Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I am back with another review. And today we're taking a look at the Transformers Kingdom Battle Across Time, or it's When Worlds Collide set. This is another two-pack of, and this time it features for the Beast War side, Grimlock, and on the more Autobot side, we have Mirage. Now, Grimlock is a repaint with a new head of the existing Voyager class Dinobot mold, whereas Mirage is an extensive retool of the Siege Deluxe class Mirage mold, giving it a more Earth-like design. This is an Amazon exclusive set. That's where I got it from. And they, much like the Sideswipe and Maximal Skywarp set, these figures came much earlier than expected, as is the case with Amazon. If it's not really, really late, it's really, really early. And screwing up people's budgets. But yeah, so we'll pause. We'll come back and we'll take a look at Mirage. So yeah, in the intro I had flubbed a little. It's the Battle Across Time set, not When Worlds Collide or something like that. Kind of flubbed, you know. I knew it's one of those epic titles, and I think I even screwed that up with the Sideswipe and Skywarp set. But right off the bat, let me just tell you, I do not have the Siege version of Mirage to compare this with. That is a 2-year-old figure. It is packed up away, and to be very honest, it's really not worth the struggle to have to dig it out, transform it both ways just for a few seconds of screen time to compare. Also, the clear repaint version that ironically was an Amazon exclusive, that would be very hard to show the detail. I can tell you that having this figure in hand, there is an extensive reshelling here going on. The fins are different. They changed how the arms transform. There's some stuff here on the sides, panels, and legs to make it look more like one of those old Formula One drag cars. What is the same is the weapons. You do have what is a replica of Mirage's old shoulder launcher and his like sniper rifle type weapon that you can do some fun stuff with, like this, and then you got a super duper sniper rifle and it's a little hand pistol. But as we'll get into robot mode, you'll see that there is quite a bit, that all this retooling, they did screw something up. Now, I do want to mention that on mine was a little bit of a quality control issue. Right here on the fins, they do believe they are supposed to peg in a little more, and I actually ended up pinching the skin on my finger here, trying to get them together. And, here, start the transformation. You want to split the arms. And in trying to squeeze them together, it just wouldn't work. And it has to do with the fin right there. I believe the plastic is, I can't tell if it's marred or there's a little extra flash, but either way, it just doesn't, on both of these, it just doesn't come together as well as it should. So you gone ahead and already split them. Bring the arms up like so. You want to make sure you bring them up on that white panel right there and not on the armpit joint. Rotate them out to the side, just like so. Open up this white panel right here. That will free up the panel to rotate Mirage's head around. That should just snap into place there. I have had it pop off the hinge there, but it can just snap right back in, and then close that back up. Rotate the wheels in, and now we're going to come down to the legs here, and you just want to start splitting things. The bottom here, they actually just sandwich interlock, so it's a little bit easier to get them out, turn it around. And what you'll start to do is these blue panels peg into the waist here, well, more like kind of soft hold, and you can just start to bring them down and out, rotate that panel inward. As you bring this down, flip out the foot, continue bringing it down, and that will sort of friction into place right there, and you can rotate the leg forward just like so. Repeat again on this side. I have to say I am impressed at how the side panels do hold into place. Bring that down, flip that around, flip the foot out, bring it down. There you go. You have the legs done. What you want to do now is collapse the waist, bring that back, down, forward, just like so. Gonna tilt it forward slightly so everything sandwiches in. And then finally with the arms, you want to push down on, make sure that white panel pegs into place. Rotate the tail fin so that wider section faces up. Do it again on that side, and then flip out the fists. And there we have Mirage in its robot mode. Now let me just adjust the camera ever so slightly. Give us a little room here. The next step would be obviously adding the weapons on. And as we all know, Mirage has a shoulder cannon, so you would think that you would be able to plug the shoulder cannon in. Well, as we all know from looking at the preview pics, the retooling they've done went ahead and removed the hole, the port, to plug this in. So really what you're meant to do, and it's done for storage, is there are some holes here on the back of the arm, and you can peg the weapon in like that, and it does hold. I like to actually have it facing upward so it sort of looks like a shoulder cannon, and then peg the gun in there in the hand. Now obviously the shoulder cannon, if we're going for animation accuracy, should be on this side, but since it's attached to the arm, it would look kind of silly when you're moving it around. I do appreciate the new head. Pretty sure this is a new head. If anything, it's a new face. That Mirage has a little smirk going on there, like his little, lightly humored expression. But yeah, besides the head, we talked about the fins. Changed deco on the chest here. Looks different, brighter blues and whites. Really does look like something closer to the G1 design. But as I said, which again, it could just be that those marred tabs, and removing those shoulder ports, it really makes it hard for me to recommend upgrading from the Siege version to this, because you're getting less of the figure out of it. I do appreciate the complete lack of clear plastic. I don't see this falling apart anytime soon. But yeah, I mean, the joints are still good and all that. So if you got the foot articulation, so you do have a lot to offer. And if you don't have that Siege version, I mean, this one's pretty good. And I should mention they do have like third-party aftermarket add-ons that can give you the proper port to peg the shoulder cannon in. But then again, in some cases, those can be more than the actual cost of the figure. So is it even really worth it? Well, right now we'll pause and we'll take a look at Grimlock. Alright, so here's Grimlock. as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this is a repaint with a new robot head based on the Voyager class Dinobot mold, much like in the original Beast Wars line. That version of Grimlock was again a repaint of the Dinobot mold. So you do have a little bit of a throwback to that. I think that version was a Walmart exclusive, and in case you were wondering, yes, this is meant to be that Grimlock. At the time, he was the only Autobot to have survived the Great War and come into the Beast era, and then eventually they brought the other Dinobots in, and then of course we had Prowl, Silverbolt, and Ironhide, who formed Magnaboss and were meant to be them. And if we go back even before the story was finalized, Optimus Primal was going to be Optimus Prime, and Megatron was going to be that Megatron, but that got changed. But so it does seem fitting that out of all the Transformers, the G1 Autobots, to make it into a Maximal would be Grimlock. Very nice gray and white design, a little black here in the head. If you're waiting for Dinobot, the comparison will do that in robot mode. I really didn't feel like having to transform 2 Voyager figures off camera, which we are going to do since we did look at the Dinobot mold already, and the transformation is exactly the same. Fun, but it is a little time consuming. And I do find it funny how, in 2021, getting these updated Beast Wars figures, 25 years ago, this is what we thought a Raptor would look like, and now we kind of know that either we're completely wrong and they look more bird-like, or we just don't know at all. So, nice green color there in the eyes, well-painted mouth. So yeah, so let's go from this to this, and here I've already gone ahead and brought Dinobot in. First of all, you can see the difference in the heads. This is a more stylized, modern take on Grimlock's original robot head. Still has the same range of movement as the Dinobot head. But you can see now, whereas you had the dark browns, you have the white, the off-white, the black, some blood red there on the side with some blue instead. And one thing to mention here on the original toy, this copper was all gold plastic and has apparently since broken down. But yeah, so it's good that that's there. But here's the tail and the weapons. I just was able to transform it with it on the back, as you're usually able to do. And it's very nice. So it's still a good mold. This is one of the better Kingdom Voyager molds out there. The transformation's really fun. It is a Masterpiece Breaker, so this is better, I think, than the Masterpiece Dinobot. So here you have a Masterpiece Beast Wars Grimlock in hand. Not much more to say about it. Obviously, if you're gonna go for something, you want to get the actual Dinobot figure, since Grimlock never really appeared in much fiction and was a store exclusive back in the day. And want to stick with the animation and stuff, definitely go with Dinobot. So that's about it. Let's pause and bring in Mirage, and I will give you my final thoughts. All right, so final thoughts on the set. It's okay. I'll be honest, I was a little less excited once having this in hand than I thought I would be. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that Mirage had those problems with his fenders, the fins, and the whole issue with the pegs in the shoulders. That's the kind of little things that can really turn you off a figure quick. And as I mentioned, I was expecting this closer to November, so getting it now in the last few days of September, after already getting that Sideswipe and Skywarp set, kind of irked me a little, screwed up the budget. But it's one of those deals where if you guys know anything about the Amazon exclusives, if you don't get them when they're available, they can become very hard to get. If you're a G1, modern G1 completionist, I don't know if I can recommend this set just for the updated Mirage. I'm sure there'll be another Mirage coming down the line at some point that will do better what this figure wanted to do. And as for Grimlock, I mean, it's a great use of the Dinobot mold, but if you want to experience it, get Dinobot. I think it's still somewhat available. So yeah, so my answer is not an answer. I don't regret getting the set, but I think I would have been okay not having it. I would have been okay not having this set more than not having the Sideswipe and Beast Wars Skywarp set, if that helps at all. Yeah. So that's about it for the review. If you like this review, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. While I'll always appreciate the views, your likes, comments, and subscriptions help communicate to YouTube through their algorithms that my channel is one that should be exalted and held upon high. If you want to make the ultimate sign of support for my channel, do consider signing up for my Patreon. It is www.patreon.com/chuckdog1999. There is a card here in the corner and a little hyperlink in the description box below. All I ask for is $1 a month or $12 a year. No thrills, no tiers, no special rewards. All you're doing is helping me help you, help me to help you, bring you figures such as this, as well as keeping up the infrastructure of the channel. But as I always say, and I really do feel the need to stress this, if you cannot do the $1 a month, $12 a year, which I can understand how things work out like that, your views are more than thanks enough. Patreon is just the cherry on top of an already generous sundae full of good things. At the end of the day, I'm lucky to be able to play with toys and share my opinions with you and get a little scratch out of it. Yeah, that sounds good. That makes sense. But yeah, so that's about it for Grimlock and Mirage. This is your old pal Chuck, and we will see you next time.